Welcome to the Fit Bridge, a podcast connecting you to conversations that help bridge you to success within the health and fitness industry. Hi, friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Fit Bridge podcast. As always, I'm your host, RC Hahn, and our guest today is Kurt Mangum. He's the Business Development Manager at ISSA. He's received numerous performance awards in his career, including the achievement in 2021 through ISSA for increasing affiliate partnerships and brand partnerships by an increase in revenue of over 30% year over year. So I had to pick Kurt's brain about what a successful affiliate partnership looks like. What are big brands such as ISSA looking for when they're seeking out potential influencers? And he provides some really useful resources around how to build a quality media kit and increasing your engagement and analytics that brands are looking for when they're seeking out partnering with influencers. So whether you're on the business side looking to utilize influencers as a marketing approach, or you're an individual who is looking to potentially partner with brands, I know that this conversation is going to be incredibly helpful towards that goal. We also chat about his own personal journey in starting out from an entry-level position to where he sits today in his career, and the necessary skills and attributes that one can apply to climb that career ladder. Working for a large education organization such as ISSA, of course, I got to ask him some questions around different education and specializations and what the role that plays in a fitness professional's career potential. I loved this conversation. I appreciate Kurt's passion and all of the wisdom that he provides in his expertise. I'm grateful that you're here, and I hope that you take something from this episode. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome, Kurt. I'm a big fan. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on the Fit Bridge podcast today. How are you doing?
I'm doing amazing. I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this, to get the chance to talk to you, share more just my insight with your listeners. So I'm pumped up and I'm excited.
I'm excited as well. I don't think the audience really knows what type of wisdom is about to be bestowed upon them today. So much wealth within the partnership space. Affiliates, can't wait to ask you. I have so many questions written down here, especially around that influencers. What is, social media marketing and influencers look like with big brands like ISSA and the plethora of other partnerships that you've established in your career. But I do want to start, being that you obviously work for a massive international education organization. I have the opportunity to ask you your opinion on certifications, specializations, right? The whole education, get the science. We hear that, right? What are your thoughts around that? How important is education, and what role does it play in the career, development, in the success for a fitness professional?
Great question. The education and certifications in particular, it's critical. And in the industry, one thing that I've seen in fitness, and I'm sure you may have seen it as well, is that there are people that are operating without certifications. They're training people, they're working in gyms sometimes, or they're just training like in their local community and they're not certified, which a lot of people start that way, right? Like you're kind of, taking a chance or kind of filling out the space in the industry. But it's so important to get certified because, number one, if a client asks you, hey, where'd you get your certification? Or are you certified? It's really a differentiator between you and someone that's not certified or someone else in the industry, where you can say, no, I'm a certified personal trainer. And with that knowledge, like you mentioned, there's so much information when it comes to programming, when it comes to client preparation, when it comes to dealing with client injuries. Like one of my biggest fears going back to my early days and getting into the fitness industry and, working in fitness in college was I never wanted someone to get hurt or injured. And I didn't know, like I wasn't doing something properly. So that's a really big aspect where you're covering yourself from a knowledge perspective to feel confident that I know exactly what to do. I know how to put together this program. I know what the warm up and the cool down is going to look like. I know what stretches. And a lot of times clients they're looking at you as the expert. So your clients, you're literally their go-to for all things fitness as their trainer or their fitness professional. And they're going to ask, And there's nothing worse than being like, I don't know. I'm not really sure when your client's asking these questions because you could lose that client, right? They can find somebody that does know. And I think that goes hand in hand with continuing education as well, because you'll find that clients starting off with your certified personal trainer certification is huge. And that's like the first step or the first like pillar foundation. But then from there, every 2 years, you have to have continuing education to stay valid. So a lot of people, it's like, oh, I get my first certification. It's like, hey, I've got it. I've got the cert. It's up on the wall. But then I didn't continue learning or continue my knowledge. And there's a couple of benefits. One being that when you have your personal trainer certification, it also helps you with being able to get insurance. So if you're working out of a boutique gym or you're working with clients one-on-one, you want to be able to have the insurance that if something did happen or someone got hurt, hey, I'm covered. And the first thing that insurance company is going to ask is, well, what kind of education do you have or what certifications do you have? So I really say that's like the big one on why certifications are important and how critical they are. And then the continuing education, just to add to that, another big one is like our second most popular certification is nutrition.
Yeah,
So
huge piece.
I'm sure as a fit pro, you've had someone that either you're training or that's asking you for guidance, and they're like, okay, we're in the gym, but like, what should I be eating?
Right. You can't
What type of food should
outwork
I
a
have?
bad diet. Is that how that goes? Right.
Right? We've heard that, the 80-20 rule with like nutrition and working out. So if you don't know the nutrition side, that's another component where you can help a client, but also you can make more money, right? There's an opportunity there where you now can have an upsell where, if you have 10 clients or 5 clients, you now have an opportunity to offer nutrition programming or meal plans. And now those 5 clients, that's a whole nother added revenue stream for your business, that makes you more valuable and, puts you at another level, as it relates to your career and trajectory.
Absolutely. I want to loop back on something you mentioned there at the beginning where you said, a lot of fit pros are operating without certification. How do you feel like that is impacting our industry? I have my own personal opinions, on it, as I'm sure you do. So I just love to kind of hear how you think that affects our industry as a whole, our authenticity, credibility, and things like that.
I think that the people operating without a certification is really doing the fitness industry a disservice because you're still using the title, I'm a trainer, or I'm a personal trainer, or I'm a fitness pro or a fitness coach. You're marketing yourself as that without the education or the certification to back that up. So now it puts the client in a situation where they don't know that you're not certified or you're not being transparent. And you never want to be in a situation where it's like, I've got this skeleton in the closet that I don't want to open the door of talking about certifications because I don't have mine. Right. And then also the opportunity that if you wanted to work in a gym or, work for, a club or a fitness center, you need that certificate. That's the first thing they're going to ask for. So now you have this false sense of um, growth, maybe of like, oh, I've got clients, I'm a trainer. And then you may want to go get that job in the gym, or you may want to take it to the next level. And someone asks you about your certification, and it's like that source of truth moment where it's like, I don't have it. And for a lot of people, that can be, it can be a career changer. You can lose clients. It can really affect your business. So I think the industry as a whole, if people are certified and they're taking their business more seriously, because you also learn some of the business aspects in the certification as well, how to correspond with clients when you're creating those programs and those things. So if you don't have that, you're not doing the fitness industry a good service of like really representing what a trainer and a fit pro is.
Right. And I'm sure they got into the industry, whether they're certified or not. If they have clients under them, they're wanting to help people. They want to change lives. They want their clients to see results. And again, if you have that science, if you get that certification, you will actually be able to do that more efficiently. And I think what you said as well would probably resonate with a lot of people. And we've seen it before. I know myself, even right when you said getting into the industry at that very start, I know you were a very high level athlete. So I think we come into that mindset that, until we know and we get those certifications, it's like, oh, everyone's training is not my training. And I think that's also, unfortunately, for those of whom aren't getting that continued education, those specializations, always learning and developing their skill sets as a fitness professional might not understand that what works for your body and me is what Sally, my client, needs and won't actually get her results. right? And that's kind of that old school model we saw way back in the day, right? That people didn't need certifications. Before all these accredited organizations came out, you just had to be the biggest dude in the gym, right? You're like, hey, that guy's got muscles. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing. So I want to go down that rabbit hole a little bit more in depth, which will actually segue us into the social media. Those maybe whom are operating with certifications or aren't. We saw a massive influx after 2020. We all know we won't say those words and speak of it here, but we know what happened to the world in 2020 and what it did specifically within the health and fitness industry. What, I guess the question I'm asking is what kind of trends are you seeing now in the space within health and fitness, within fitness professionals, how they're operating for better or for worse? What are you seeing after that aftermath of where we sit now, a couple years out?
Man, there's so much that has happened in the fitness space, so many things that have been shaken up as it relates to how many people. I mean, I think I'm sure you remember when the gyms closed,
Yeah.
and it's like you've got to find an alternative way to stay active or to work out. And I think because of the pandemic and because of what happened, so many people are seeing that they like the convenience of being able to train at home. I want to be able to train virtually. Or I want my trainer to create my program and I go do it on my own. And I come back for those check-ins. So it's really changed from I'm going into the gym, I'm meeting with my trainer for 1 hour, and I'm going home as like the traditional or kind of the way that kind of fitness in the client trainer relationship was set up. Now there's so many different verticals, there's so many different opportunities to connect with clients. There's applications now where you can do some of the meal planning, the programming, you can have on-demand workouts. On demand is huge, right? Where now a client is saying, well, I actually just want to work out for 30 minutes, like when I have time in my workday, because I'm now working remote. So to help that client, you're like, okay, I'll put the workout together. You're going to see all your exercises. You'll have it on an app, or you'll have it, have it at your fingertips. And then you also have the component of people like, no, I still want to be in person, but I want my trainer to come to me. So you have that component of people that now were in the gym that are now going to like a remote or like even mobile, where it's like, hey, I've got this set up, I've got my equipment, I'm going to my clients and we're working out outdoor. We're doing outdoor boot camps. We're doing things like that because, right, pandemic can't be inside. There's, limits on the number of people that can be in a studio. So because of so many of those dynamics, it's really also empowered both the trainer and the client to figure out what do I want my fitness journey or my fitness goals to look like now, and how do I want to get there. So I really think that the industry has changed for the better as well. There have been obviously struggles, right? A downside for the gyms are they haven't had the clients and they've lost trainers, right? And there's those dynamics where really gyms have struggled with the shutdowns. But I think from the trainer perspective, for those that want to help people and want to have that impact, there's more ways now to connect, to reach people, and also to find clients because people are now more open to. I maybe have never met my trainer before in my life, but I saw them on Instagram doing some cool workouts, and like now I want to work out with them. And it's a big opportunity for a lot of people that want to share wellness.
Yeah, I think another positive amongst the things that you said there is hopefully there has been a spark in that health truly is important. So that if I can see the silver lining of everything that has happened, is that hopefully there's a lot more conscious thinking around that importance of why you do need to exercise for 30 minutes a day, move your body, how that directly impacts your wellness and your health and those correlations for, preventative medicine. And how, again, I think it ties full circle back to those certifications and having that education truly around the science of exercise and nutrition and the plethora of other things on how you can truly help someone be healthier and be within kind of preventative medicine. So I love that push. And you spoke about seeing the trainer on the gram doing the workouts. So that leads me to the question, which I really want to ask because I know this is all over the place and the people need to know, Kurt, what is an influencer? Because I'm sure there's this stigma to be an influencer, you got to have like 2 million followers, be super jacked, do crazy exercises on your story. But give us your professional description of what an influencer is.
So there's a lot of definitions out there. So
go down the rabbit hole with it, my man. I want to know all. I want a full description.
So there's there's some different definitions, and there's different tiers for influencers as it relates to followers. But in my opinion, from a business perspective, also being an influencer as well, is do you influence? Meaning if you share something, if you do something, are you seeing other people following that trend? If you share, hey, this is my pre-workout, this is the water bottle, and I love it, all of a sudden, do you see 2 or 3 people like with that same water bottle? Or are people responding like, oh my OMG, where did you get that from? So you can be influencing people without even knowing, right? Like you're going, hey, I went to lunch and it was Taco Tuesday. Now all of a sudden everybody's like Taco Tuesday. Like
you made me hungry, Kurt. Enough with the food references. Can we stay on topic? It's lunchtime here. Carry on.
But that's exactly how it happens, where it comes up and people are like, oh my gosh, you set the trend, or you influence me to say, I need to go. I saw Kurt here. Oh my gosh, I've got to try this place, or I've got to try this exercise or this workout. And to me, that's what influencing is. You're influencing a purchasing decision. You're influencing a decision for somebody that they saw you do something and they're like, that was enough for me to take the next step. And there's so much power in that, because now what brands are seeing is that when I see a stock image and it's somebody promoting a product, like, it's okay, right? It's a stock image. But if I see someone that I recognize, someone that like I know, where it's like, oh my gosh, like, oh, I know Kurt. Oh, I saw him on this, and this, and now I'm seeing him using this product, that impacts the purchasing decision so much more. So like, that's my definition of like being an influencer, is you're actually influencing purchasing decisions. And then the other element of being an influencer, because you can be influencing, but a part of being an influencer also is that where are you influencing? Right? Because you could be like an influencer or a leader just in your organization, and you're influencing people to make decisions like at the office. But again, you're almost limited to the people that are seeing you, right, in the office. But social media gives you a platform where people can see you anywhere in the world. So then the other element of influencing and being influencers, they have the tiers of what type of influencer you are. So like a nano influencer is someone that has 1,000 to 10,000 followers. So it's a nano influencer, which a lot of brands like working. There's not one perfect like level or tier. Everyone provides different value. So a nano influencer is 1,000 to 10,000 followers. A micro influencer is 10,000 to 50,000 followers. So that's like the next tier, right? Where you have more people that are following you and watching and engaging. Then you have like a mid-tier influencer that's 50,000 to 500,000 followers. Going from mid-tier, you have macro influencer, which is 500,000 to 1 million followers. And then the highest tier, or the top level as it relates to, influencing or following, is being a mega influencer, which means you have over 1 million followers. So that's more of like celebrities. For ISSA, working with Kai Green, for example, he's got millions of followers. So he falls under that mega influencer category. Whereas myself, I'm a nano influencer, which is under that 10,000. But what's really unique about being an influencer and not being swayed by like just the followers can be very misleading, because nowadays you can buy pretty much anything. You can buy followers, but what you can't buy or you can't fake as well is engagement. So you can see somebody that has 1 million followers and you're like, well, they got 5 comments on their last post and like 100 likes, or it doesn't add up, right? When you're looking at it, like, well, if you got 1 million people following you, either people don't really like what you're posting, but why would only 5 people comment about it, right? There's a disconnect. But if you're a nano influencer and you've got 4,000 followers, but you got 50 people that are commenting on your post, it's like, oh my gosh, people are really engaged and they go to you to influence, or you're influencing those decisions, or you're guiding and influencing people. So long answer to that question, but that's my view of influencers and the tiers of different types of influencers.
Yes. I love the long answers. Give us all of the wisdom here, Kurt. So many questions to follow up with that. One, to summarize, it sounds like for the hope of the nanos out there, the ones of us, there is opportunity to be in that bracket of that influencer and work with brands and collaborate with them as affiliate partners or influencers, which I do want to dive into here in a moment. As well as I have a question. You mentioned, Kai Green, these mega, was that mega? They're megas?
Mega,
Megas.
yes.
Okay.
Over a
And
million
I know in
followers.
your experience, you've spearheaded, and one, congratulations, super impressive, in your accolades within partnership, affiliate partnerships, cross-promoted marketing and such. You're an absolute wizard at that. So what does someone like yourself that is increasing by 30%. I mean, you've got the numbers, you got the receipts to prove it, man. You're creating partnerships left and right that are magnifying and maximizing your brand from a nano to a mega level. Question being, what is Kurt looking for when you're out here looking for influencers, affiliate partners on any level? You spoke of engagement, but what does that mean? What does that look like? What are you looking at?
Great question. So before I go to engagement, I want to touch on the first thing that I look at is authenticity.
Mm.
Are you authentic? Are you who you're portraying yourself as? And I feel like we all know somebody that's like,
You know him in real life and you see him on the gram. You're like, I don't know.
like,
I don't
and
know,
that's the
man.
thing.
I saw you at the gym yesterday. I had dinner with you.
Exactly. You're
Don't
on
think
your
that's
phone
you.
your whole workout. You're on your phone your whole workout, man. You didn't lift any weights, right? And I think so often, and that's where influencers or influencing can get a bad rap or a bad um, perception because of the fact that so many people call themselves an influencer and they may not actually be that, or they're not authentic. Social media, I found, is a lot of times it's your highlights, right? So like Instagram, you're sharing your highlights, like, hey, boom, great news, how exciting, PR on this new, bench press, whatever that is. That's great, but also, are you being your authentic self? Are you telling your story? I think that's what people really are drawn to, with what they buy in on. So for me, the first thing that I'm looking at a potential partner is, are you sharing wellness? Are you posting about fitness? If I look at your profile and it's like, you know, you doing other things, like if you're doing modeling, like all on your profile, and it's just like modeling photos, really cool. That's great. But that wouldn't be the type of influencer that as a fitness brand, we would necessarily collaborate with, because your audience isn't looking for fitness content. They're looking for modeling content, right? Or they're looking for, you're a chef. They're looking for chef content. Whereas for us, if you're posting exercises, if you're even posting photos, if you're posting progress, if you're posting client transformations, if you're talking, or if you're just showing your journey, because that's another one. Like you can be at a totally different stage where if you're not even a coach or a trainer at that level, but yet you're sharing your journey. Like one person that comes to mind, he lost over 120 pounds. He's an ISSA affiliate, but he lost 120 pounds, and literally he just documented. Like he's a school teacher. He documented like him losing weight. He's got like the photo of the pants, like it used to be like two, it was a huge size. He lost like a
Yeah, fit a
person,
whole other person in the other side
whole
of the
other
pant.
person
Yeah.
in there. It's crazy. But to see that, and now there's so many people that are trying to lose 100 pounds that are now following him, and they're looking for motivation. They're looking for, how do you do that? Right. And then so for me, I'm looking at, well, if you actually have built that following or you have that engagement, which was that second part, is what are people saying? Are they receptive? Right? Are they saying like, great work? How do I learn more? What are you doing? Hey, what type of challenges are you up to? Because then for us as an education company, I'm looking at the approach of, this is an opportunity for us to educate, right? We can educate your audience, or you can educate your audience on what the benefits were of you getting a certification. So for him, it was like, I got certified so that I can be even better at getting to my fitness goals. Now he's got a job at a gym. He's training personal clients. He's doing online training. He's doing all of these other things, but it all started with just his own journey, and built the engagement from there. More people started following, and those people that were followers turned into his clients, a lot of them. So those are the things that I'm looking at, whether you're a Nano influencer or a mega influencer, are you authentic? And then the other dynamic is, what's your engagement like, right? Are you, and then also another big one, authenticity, engagement, but also quality. Quality is really important, right? So my feedback would be also, you don't have to post 3 times a day, every day, right? There's a lot of tips out there that say to do that. But if your content's like fuzzy video, your hand, like shaky camera, if people are like looking at it and they want to look away because it's just not great, maybe scale back the videos from 3 to 1, but make that one video like really quality. So a brand, when I come and look at your profile, I want to see an image or see content that makes me feel like we want to repost that.
Mm-hmm.
That comes to mind as, some of those things that I'm looking for from influencers.
Absolutely. So I think the takeaway I'm hearing is would be authenticity, right? True to who you are. I think that's important. You see people, like you said, kind of that disillusion where you'll have someone like, if you gave me, I don't know, I don't know, a coffee. And let's say I don't drink coffee and I'm trying to fake be like, this is my favorite coffee. And everyone's
This is
like,
the
you don't
best
even
latte
drink
ever.
coffee. Like, that's weird. You've never even tasted that. Like, or makeup. Like, don't give me a makeup sponsor. I don't know what to do. I'd be painting my face like a tiger, right? Like, that wouldn't be the on brand continuity. So I'm hearing be authentic to yourself. And I think that's just a piece and whole. Another word that comes to mind was relatable with your audience, with I think coincides with authenticity, being true to yourself, being true to the brands that make sense, to things you like, that you can passionately speak about organically, and just being relatable with your audience and your people, whether that's being transparent, sharing your story, right, with everyone and not just being the highlight reels, just coming on there, being yourself, and the right brands will align with you because they see that you're, a good match and pair, kind of a puzzle piece for what they're doing. So then that if someone came to you and said, I want to work with brands, right? I want to work with big brands, Kurt. What advice do you have for me? Do you have anything additional you would give them if they want to partner with, big brands like ISSA or anything else out there?
Yeah, I would say don't be afraid to reach out.
Mm.
Reach out,
Closed
see
mouths don't
what
get fed.
that's a great.
Now, where would one go though? Because I feel like that seems simplistic. And I'm even now in my mind, like, obviously I got an unfair disadvantage. I've got you on my podcast right here. I could email you, but for everyone out there listening, I'm sure they have a ton of brands in their mind that they hear you say that. How does one get in touch with someone inside of a brand besides just sliding in their DMs?
Boom. That's the first one. Slide in the DMs. Hey, so great following, but also engage, right? Like if I've never seen you before, and I don't run our social media personally, we have an awesome team that does that, but they'll refer someone over like, hey, got a message from this person, like here's their profile, and I would take the next steps of vetting, scheduling a time to meet with them, look at their profile. But it obviously helps when you're following the brand, when you maybe have engaged with that brand, you've liked some photos, you dropped a couple of comments, again, but you're being authentic, right? You're not just like dropping the
Not going on
biceps
a
on every
liking
photo.
spree and trying to show up on there.
Exactly. But it does help when it's like, oh my gosh, we have polls, we ask questions, we have different content, and you're just adding in your 2 cents. Oh, this is great. Oh, we have a blog. Like, you're adding those things in, or maybe you're reposting some content.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're seeing you in our feed, or we're seeing that you're reposting stories, you're sharing this information, and then you can reach out with a DM like, hi, and also being professional, right? Don't reach in for a DM and like, hey, hook me up.
Hey, bro, you got that promo code, Kurt? Wait, give me that
Or
discount.
free.
Slide me that 10%, Kurt.
and you said 10%, but a lot of times people, it's unfortunate, but some of those influencers that get a bad rap is like, oh, I want this for free. Like, hey, hook me up with the free. And like, if you think about anything, is that person going to value what they're getting if they just want something for free? Or it's not always well received when you haven't put in the work. So I would say put in the work. And then if I really want to work with the brand, like myself, I'm thinking about influencers that I've brought on, as well as me being an influencer and working with brands myself, is that I want to work with the brands that I believe in. So
Hmm.
if I believe in your brand, I'm going to use your product regardless of if I have a partnership
Right.
or
Like,
not.
hey, I already got it. I've already got the ISSA certs. I've got all your specializations. I'm living it. I just want to be a
Exactly.
part of it. I'm already about it.
How can I share this more? Are there any opportunities for me to share more about the great work that ISSA is doing? Right? Like I want to share more about it. So naturally now I'm looking at it. Well, how do we get them involved? What opportunities exist out there for us to get them involved, or for us, what certification umbrella do they maybe fit underneath? Right? Like because we have 25 different certifications, you may not be a personal trainer. You could be a yoga instructor. Like you could be a physical therapist or something like that, where you fit into a certification that you can speak to and talk about, and how do you add value. So I think of my other tip would be what's in it for me, or what's in it for the other person. You want it to be a win-win. And in my opinion, with any partnership that I do, if it's not a win-win, it won't be long. In my mind, it won't be long lasting, because there's going to come a point where someone is like, hey, this isn't really a fair deal, or like I don't really feel like I'm winning as much as they are, or vice versa, and they're not as motivated to keep working together.
Yeah.
So
It's
if
just
you
not
create,
natural.
it's not natural. So if
Right.
you
You help
create
me,
that
I help
win-win,
you. It's mutually beneficial. That's why it's called a partnership.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So that would be a big one. And then so one would be sliding in the DMs, and obviously DMs can get bogged down. You may not get a response. 90% of people don't follow up.
Hmm.
90% just
Follow up.
and
It's
this
just
is
like
just
if you're
across
trying
the
to get
board.
a client, what do? You ask for the sale one time, or do you have them in your little campaign of a 30-day, 60-day, 90-day? Keep on trying.
Ex-
Yeah.
Let me follow up. And or it may be, hey, is there someone, is there an email for someone I can reach out to that works with your partnerships or works with your affiliates? Or go to the website of the brand. I would even do that first, is also go to the website of the brand and do your due diligence. We have an area on our website where you can apply to be an affiliate without talking to me or anybody. We review you, we go through a process. So you can literally go to the website right now, and a lot of brands have an area that says affiliates in like their footer at their website, where you can apply to become an affiliate. There's not a guarantee that you get accepted, but that goes into the authenticity, the building your good content, having the engagement, because those are the things that it checks out. So now when I check to see like, oh, how's your profile, right? There's things that align with the brand that you're applying to be, their affiliate or their partner.
Yeah. Great, great tips there. Thank you for those. And I want to do a little myth busting here. You'd be
Okay.
the guy to maybe know. You speak about engagement. For those out there now, because I know slightly that I'm not super heavy in that space. That's not my wheelhouse as far as selecting influencers and things of that nature and social media. But I've heard there's a way that you can see people's engagement. So
Can.
pretty like there's platforms, there's very high level softwares, systems, programs that companies use. So I guess the question, it's kind of a question, but also just like, can you validate? Stop buying the followers, stop trying to buy comments and likes, because at the end of the day, the brands and people can see if it's real or not, right?
100%. So I'm glad you called that out, because, and it's not just brands can see, anybody can see. Right now, you can go to Google and look up engagement rate Instagram, and type, you can literally just put in someone's handle
Oh,
and
that's a
it'll
game changer. Oh no. Oh no.
put it
You
in
mean you don't have to
Google
buy the really expensive softwares?
free,
Oh
and it'll
no.
show you the percentage. And then it'll give you the example of what it should be. So like a nano influencer engagement should be, uh, over 3%, so like 3 to 5% engagement. A mega influencer, because they have so many followers, engagement should be like 1%. So these are like the baseline where, okay, I can look and see. And if they have a lot of followers and not high engagement, why? Do they not
Mhm.
post that often, right? Like I can do more. It's not like an end all be all, but you tend to see the people that are buying the followers. It doesn't add up, or even buying the likes, because people will buy followers and they'll buy likes, but then there will be no comments. Or here's what's even worse. It's like you take a step, it's like the initial win on the front end, but you win the battle. I'm sorry, you win the battle, but you lose the war, right? Because the battle's won because now you got a partnership with the brand. But now the brand is basing your followers and your what we think your engagement is on how a campaign should perform with you. So, hey, we partner, we're going to share out this information based on how many people follow you and how much engagement you have. I'm expecting X number of people to click on the link that you share. If you have 2 people that click on the link and you've got 2 million followers or 200,000, right? It's like, it doesn't make sense. And a lot of brands, including us and other brands, even put in, like, when you're doing like paid campaigns where, you're creating content and you're posting about it, there's even stipulations and agreements that say you can't like boost or use like third party platform. Essentially, it has to be transparent and authentic. And we also ask for the reporting.
Mm-hmm.
So think about after you post, like, that 24 hours on your story where it shows like how many people saw it on Instagram, or your post, how many people, the breakdown of what regions they were in, how many, the analytics and the data is there. So if it doesn't match up, you now end up in that weird, it's almost like not having your certification, right? Like, you're getting called like, hey, so what certification do you have with who? And you're like, oh, I don't have a
Yeah,
certification.
I read a lot of books.
I've read a lot of
I used to
articles.
play sports.
I watch YouTube.
Yeah.
So I would say that's my biggest thing there would be, there are a lot of platforms out there. You can check the engagement rate. You can check the followers and those things. And then also, it's so much better to be transparent. And even if you have a low follower, growing organically, because the other big aspect of being an influencer too is that you can be a nano influencer, under 10,000 followers, but you can actually still have big brands or brands that want to work with you because they want user generated content. So a lot of times you may hear marketing departments say UGC. We want more UGC. We want more user generated content so that we can share real people instead of sharing stock images, right? Because it doesn't look as, it's like, I have no idea who that person is, versus like, oh, I've seen them somewhere before. Oh, that's the influencer that I follow. And now they're in ISSA gear, they're in the gym, they're doing their workout. And now we can also use those images for maybe other marketing campaigns, sharing other things. So that's the other aspect where, your image, your likeness, all of those things are other components of being an influencer aside from just your followers. It could also be using your content in the brand's campaigns.
Love that. I know, and you mentioned briefly, I want to hear your thoughts from the other side, all right? Because I know you and your wife have a, non-related brand, and you guys try and get brands, right? So that's kind of interesting because in your day to day, right, you're solidifying and closing, partnerships and affiliate partnerships and all of these things. And then you go home and you and your wife have a separate brand that you're
Right.
trying to get affiliate partnerships. Share with us from the influencer. So now you're in the seat as an influencer, maybe some do's and don'ts on that side.
Great question. And as I think about the influencer side of things, I highly recommend being professional. That's probably one of the biggest things that I've learned through the process, is that you're working as an influencer, working with brands. You're working with people from the marketing department, from the corporate headquarters, directly from the brand. So like we talked about, kind of sending the DM and not having a good follow-up, having things like your media kit. Where's your information, right? You can't just, I'm going to send you a link to my IG and it's like, here you go. Well, you may be doing yourself a disservice, because when I think about, us as influencers, or my kind of putting my influencer hat on, there are so many other platforms besides just Instagram. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on TikTok, you name it, we're on LinkedIn, all of these other platforms where you have an opportunity now to show how many people do you reach. So now if I'm just talking about Instagram, I can say, we reach 50,000 people a month on Instagram, with impressions and those things. I can say all together in a media kit that I put together, which you can use. I'm going to throw this out there. Canva is a great a platform that you can use to create your media kit. They have a template where you're adding in your images and adding in your information, but you can use a Canva, for example, be able to create your media kit. And now you're showing how much engagement you get on all your platforms. So now instead of me saying 50,000 on Instagram, or they don't even see that data, they just see my followers, they can see the engagement rate on the media kit because it's listed. They're able to see everything's in one place. What do we look like? What do other campaigns look like? What are some images that you've used in other campaigns with partners? We even include reviews. What do people say that have worked with you in the past, right? You really want to be able to sell yourself and package yourself and really make the process easier, because there's so many people out there that want to do influencing or that are influencers that a brand may see 100, 1,000 people in a year's time. What makes you stand out so that it's like, no, I want to work with them? Aside from just the look, it's the professionalism, it's the engagement rate, what platforms you're on, your follow-up. So that's really probably the biggest one, I'd say.
I love that you
Professionalism,
said that because
follow-up.
it is so simple, but I think just as a whole, it is something that is neglected. All right. From just being a fitness professional in itself, right? Or being an influencer as a fitness professional or an influencer as a makeup artist, whatever, in any space. Like if you want to be a professional, if you want to be respected and seen, if you want to operate your business with your clients, your business with your brands on social media, anything at all. It's like, show up, take it serious, right? Be a professional. Take 40 minutes, an hour, whatever, to go on camera and create your media kit, to have some follow-up reminders on your phone, right? Show up to your training session with your notebook and your clipboard and your, all of these things that I just love that you said that, because it is such a casual, physically space, our industry. And social media, you're sitting at home in your sweats, right? That we can forget that we're asking people for money. We're asking people for collaboration. If you want to build a brand, you got to operate. You got to think like a business owner. You need to have professionalism in every arena and aspect of this business that you're trying to build, whether it's your training business or your influencer business, all of those things. So thank you for that reminder, that professionalism is just such a simple thing that you can do. It doesn't take skills. Professionalism doesn't take certifications. It just takes a little
Work. It takes
it
work.
takes a little work, right? But
Both time.
yeah, put in that extra work. So you're saying that if you put in that additional little bit of extra work, that is a pretty big differentiator.
Huge. Putting in that extra work, being professional. And the other thing to that point of putting in that extra work is expectations. Don't expect that the first person that you reach out to, they're paying you thousands of dollars to be an influencer or post for their brand. There's some brands that, collaboration started off. The best way I can put it, I like to use sports references, but it's almost like being on your rookie deal, which doesn't matter the sport or the career. Everyone knows what, like, you have that entry contract or that rookie deal where you're trying to show and prove. Like, I want to show that I'm worthy of the really big opportunity to be that franchise player or that go-to influencer for a brand. But it may mean that you go to a couple events and you don't get paid anything. They just comp you to go to the event, or you take a couple photos. We talked about it earlier, buying the product because you believe in it so much, posting photos in the product or doing a product review that you paid for, working with the brand or letting them repost it. And they're like, hey, can we repost this? Yes. And then if there's any opportunities to work together in the future, I'd love to. And for us, and as I think about, my wife and I and our influencer side, there's so many things that it started off with an email. It started off with doing something for free. It started off with that initial work that led to a much bigger partnership down the line, or partnering with a bigger brand. And also knowing that sometimes you may partner with somebody. It's like someone that does pro bono work, because it's like, hey, this is a huge opportunity. If you
Right.
got a chance
Take
to work
advantage
with
of that. Yeah. People are like, well, I don't work for free. I'm like, we were missing out on a lot of opportunities that could have opened other doors and other outlets, or you show up to that event for free, or you had to pay for your plane ticket or whatever. But now you're in the photo at that, and that just gained you 50,000 followers or something, but you had to get in the room, or you had to do it for
get in the
free.
room. Exactly. Or right, not even the followers it would be a bonus, but you're meeting the brand. You're now at the event with the decision makers. You're meeting with the person that makes all the marketing decisions. You're able to shake their hand. You're able to convey why you love the brand so much. So it gives you access. So that's what would be the big one, getting the access, but you want to be prepared when that preparation meets opportunity.
And what did you say? Can you repeat that? You said something show and prove. Is that how you put it?
Show and prove. So show and prove. But then being able to having access to the opportunity, and then being able to have when preparation meets opportunity, you're ready. So you're
Oh, love
prepared.
that. When preparation meets
Opportunity.
opportunity, you're ready.
Yep.
That's a nugget. That's a quote. Oh, well, speaking of quotes, I want to hear your quotes on the 3 fiber foundation words that you gave us today. Now, these are 3 of my favorite words. So thank you for picking them. I want to dive into them. For our fiber foundation pillars of success, you have selected faith, grit, and fitness. Faith, grit, and fitness. Let's start with the faith. Why is faith what is it? How is it related? And why is it important and a key pillar to success?
Absolutely. Faith is going to be the biggest one for me, especially because in any situation, we were just talking about 2020 and the pandemic. It took faith just to believe that we're going to get through this, right? Like there's days, there's dark days, there's hard days, there's difficult moments. There's that time where you've reached out to 3 or 4 people and like nobody's responded. And you're like, is all of this preparation or this work that I'm doing for naught? Like, is it even going to materialize into anything? And if you keep the faith, if you don't give up, if you're staying on that path, and for me being spiritual as well, I look at how can I serve and how do I have like that component of serving, keeping the faith through the situations to get to my ultimate goal. And without the faith, it's so easy to not believe. It's easy to give up. It's easy to allow a situation or a circumstance to derail you from your ultimate goal if you don't have faith that, hey, I'm going to stay on track. I'm going to get there. It is paying off. So that faith is such a big one. And that's one I wanted to start with as far as that first foundational word.
It reminds me of a quote. I'm sure you've heard it. We used to say, fake it till you make it. And then the revised way is believe it until you achieve it. And that's what I think of when I think of faith is like, you have to believe this is going to work. Like you said, this will pay off. This serves its purpose. No doesn't mean, just means maybe later, right? Like when you're sending those DMs or things, but you have to, I love faith. I think that's really important. So thank you for selecting that, because heart and mind, which lead the feet to doing the work, have to be there or nothing works. So thank you for selecting faith. Grit. Talk to us about grit.
That one there is so big, because when I think about what it takes to be successful at anything, it doesn't matter what it is. You have to have that grit. You have to, I was never the person in sports or I wasn't always the fastest. I wasn't always the strongest. I wasn't always the biggest, but I believe that I would not be outworked. That's what I can control. I can control my effort. I can control each day how focused I am, how on time I am, how prepared I am, how hard I work. That if the minimum amount of calls is 20 or the minimum amount of reps is 10, I'm going 12. I'm going 21. I'm going to exceed whatever the bar is. I'm going to go beyond that. And that's just the grit. And a lot of times, if someone is more talented than you, which there are people out there that are going to be more talented, there are going to be people out there that are more attractive, that are all of these things, but they don't have to outwork you. So if you have that grit that you will not be outworked, sometimes there's nothing like that, because you're going to be able to outlast. You'll be able to outlast your competition. And the reality is you are your only competition. But with that grit, you're going to continue to be a better version of yourself by continuing to push, continuing to work, continuing to put in that time.
Preach it, brother. I know you ain't done. What else you got for us? That is real, though. It's like I remember early on in my career, I've spoken about it many times on probably some other episodes, but that was a differentiating factor for me. I heard my mentor, he was speaking, and I was sitting in the back, just young, like 18, just brand new trainer. And he said, I've never been the smartest person in the room, but I've been the hardest working. And that resonated with me. It was like, oh, okay. I might not be very smart, but I sure as hell will outwork you. Like I will figure it out. Yeah, I know. I think that is a huge piece, right? No matter, even if you're really talented, it's unfortunate. You see people that are so talented in
Right.
any industry, but they're lazy. I'm like, do
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about when you see those people that have that potential and you're like, if you even applied 10% more energy, do you know how successful you could be? But come on, get up on your feet and work, people. Get
So true. I had a coach that used to say potential will get you beat,
Ooh,
because potential without the work doesn't materialize,
right.
and even when I think about ISSA and the role that I'm in now, I didn't start off in this role. I started off at an entry level position and worked my way up. But that grit, that grit was I'd never done, phone sales or talk to people like over the phone as far as that being a part of the business. And that was completely new for me. But I knew they had the numbers of how many people like, or the outbound reach or what you're supposed to do. And I remember setting the company record for the most lives changed and most revenue in 32-year history. But I also had the most outbound like outreach of anybody during that
Was an
timeline.
accident. You don't
You know,
succeed on accident, right? Great book if you haven't read it, right? Success is not an accident.
exactly.
You broke a record, but you also broke a record at making the most calls. Like,
Make it putting the most effort.
yeah,
Yeah.
love that. Well, congrats. I hope we can insert a celebration sound emoji, a sound effect in there somewhere. Some cheering or clapping or something. I'm here for it, Kurt.
A grit applause. A
Yes,
grit
yes.
applause.
Insert a little round of applause sound effect, please. And then the last word you've selected, fitness.
Fitness is such a big one for me because I truly feel like fitness was a part of like saving my life.
Mm.
Have a lot of family members and loved ones that suffer with diabetes, hypertension, high blood pressure, different things like that. I growing up was an overweight kid, round belly, round, and my nickname was Buddha when I was a kid because of a
There's
round
worse
belly and
nicknames
round
to
face.
have.
True.
Buddha's a pretty cool guy. Yeah,
True, but when people want to walk up to you and rub on your belly, it's not normally like a good feeling. Like,
yeah.
I don't really like this very much. But I say that to say, instead of allowing that to stay my reality or allowing that to define who I was, I continue to focus on my fitness. I continue to focus on my wellness journey, and focusing on my own fitness made such a big difference because not only did I see my body transform, my mind transformed. How strong I became, how far I could push, how I can keep going. And so the same mentality as it relates to fitness that I had when I was a Division I athlete is the same exact mentality that I have even now in life. Before this, I got a great workout in and I push myself to the limit so that I can still have, I can fail in the gym so I can thrive in the world or in the rest of my day because I've already pushed myself. And obviously all of the benefits of fitness and getting active and the endorphins, that good energy and feeling upbeat and feeling uplifted. I want to be able to, between fitness, faith, and grit, I want to be able to be that like electric charge that comes in and I'm a culture changer. When I walk in a room or when I walk into a building, I want to be able to ignite people, ignite the environment where they're like, oh man, like it
Felt
just,
that.
the
Hmm.
energy just raised a notch, in the room or in the area. And that's one of the things too, fitness I love about ISSA. There's not many situations where at the at the company holiday party, you can have a push-up contest, basically a push-up contest with your CEO. In our
I'm
dress
gonna
attire.
need an invite to that.
In our
I
in
feel
our
a
dress
little
attire.
offended. I haven't been invited to the ISSA Christmas party yet. I'll go toe to toe with y'all in a push-up contest.
We don't we
I'll
don't turn
text you
anyone
my
away.
address. I'm really expecting an invite, my man.
We don't turn
I'm
anyone
going to be
away from a push-up
practicing all
contest.
year. Timestamp this episode. We have a solid like 9 months till Christmas.
There we go. Come on. Our CEO sets the bar pretty high too. So it was a nice, it definitely got intense.
Yeah, but I think that's beautiful that you reference that. And there is that. I wish more individuals who aren't, obviously if you're in health and fitness in any capacity, you already know the correlation of mental wellness and how that resiliency and mindset transfers over into your lifestyle. All right, that hardworking, just mindset that we approach everything with. But for those of whom are out there that maybe are newer in their health and fitness journey, like I'm excited for you because that is going to transfer over into everything that you do, right? You're going to be like, oh, I'm too tired to send that one last email or make this call. But then you remember, like, wait, I'm a badass. Like, I just pushed through one more rep in the gym. I can send one more email, like you just feel as a person stronger in every way and are able to take on challenges and face them with a different perspective. So I love that we share that mutual mindset for the gym amongst all the other benefits that you get, of course, right? From the physical aspect and aesthetic. It's like, it's really just who you are as a person and how you do everything. Right. So I thought that. Well, I want to finish it off here. I'm really interested to hear your response. We ask this to every guest that comes on the Fit Rich podcast. What is the one thing you wish you would have had known? I know you have an incredible journey, both personally and professionally. What would you tell yourself 20 years ago, right? What do you wish you would have had known that you know now?
You can manifest anything.
Mm.
You can manifest anything. It doesn't have to just be what you see. There's a quote that says you can't be what you don't see. And so a lot of times, if you don't have access, if you don't know that there's an opportunity out there or that you can live this life, I think sometimes people don't know, like, I don't know what I want to do for a career. I don't know what like the end goal is for me, but I know what I want my life to look like. I know what type of freedom I want to have. I know what type of love I want to have in my household. I know what type of day I want to be joyful about, right? All of those, there is something out there, or there's a career, there's a path out there that you can manifest, that even if you don't see it right now, or you may not have the referral or the connection or the Indeed link to apply for the job, but you can truly manifest anything that you visualize, anything that you believe in. And so I would really say the power of those manifestations and the power of also saying it to yourself. So I would say incorporate whatever you're trying to manifest into your I am statements. So make that I am statement. I'll even share a couple of my I am statements from today. I am worthy. I am prosperous. I am taking no negative thoughts. So now when something happens or adversity hits, it's, everything isn't easy, or everything isn't going to go at things. You're almost guaranteed that things are not going to go according to plan. But when they don't, what do you do in that moment? Are you taking no negative thoughts? Are you realizing that you're worthy for a better opportunity, or for the opportunity that you're currently being presented with, and manifesting what you want, what you desire? But a part of that manifesting is also dreaming big. Don't just manifest like, oh, I can, I just want to do this. Like, if you want to manifest that you're going to be the number one trainer in the world, manifest that. And I know this is the closing, but I think about, there's an influencer that was a postal worker that I've worked with and partnered with at ISSA, but he was a postal worker. He's grown to one of the biggest celebrity trainers in the entire industry, training actors and superstars. And he literally was like, I was delivering mail as a postal worker, making, 15 to 20 bucks an hour. And now he's making $500 an hour, if not more, training Kardashians and people like that. So it's one of those things where whatever you want to manifest, whatever you want to dream it, manifest it, and you can truly live it.
Man, I couldn't agree with you anymore. Huge fan of the manifesting and that mindset. I want to highlight a piece that you said at the beginning of that about it can be challenging sometimes for those whom haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's an important part to pause on for a second and just kind of go back to that, because that is the reality. Sometimes we get trapped in our dreams being smaller than their potential because we don't have a reference. We've never seen someone go to college. We've never hung out with millionaires. We've never hung out with people that are really fit and have six packs, right? Whatever it is, if we haven't seen it, or a home filled with love,
how do we create a vision in our mind of what a loving home looks like, or what it feels like to be a billionaire if I've never sat in a Lamborghini next to a billionaire? So I think that that's important to just highlight there. And you have to sometimes be creative in your mind. And that imagery has to be narrated and drawn out. Even if you haven't seen it, it doesn't mean that it's not possible. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist and it's not available to you and you're not worthy of it. You're just going to have to get a little bit creative and dive deep and paint that picture so clear. Right. I know without even asking you, I know when you're starting to manifest and when you had previously, you already knew, right? You know, you were imagining the smell, you're thinking of the color. It was like what that first word is, right? Like it was so detailed, so detailed. And the more detailed you can be, I believe the closer to reality you can get and grasp it when you can feel it, see it, touch it, smell it, all of the senses in your mind. So thank you for sharing that. That's a beautiful one, right? If you don't see it in your mind, the universe can't bring it to you. I'm sure we'd have to go on a whole nother episode to go down about universe and energy, and we'll go back to the faith and we'll just be here forever. But I want to give an opportunity. You've shared so much wisdom with us today. Always a pleasure to chat with you. I'll turn it over. Any final nuggets of wisdom?
Oh man. My final or my closing would be, see how can I serve? How can I serve first? Because there's no way that there's a saying, you can't outgive God. So if you're serving, if you're giving, whether that's in your community, that's in your gym, that's wherever you are, you can't outgive. You're going to see it come back to you 10 times over. And I'm living proof of that, even in moments where I didn't know how things were going to materialize, what was going to happen. I have an idea of what I want, but I don't know how I'm going to get there. And things start aligning themselves. They start happening in your favor. But again, preparation meets opportunity.
Be prepared. Don't be selfish is what I took from that.
Yes.
When you have good intentions, the universe will give back to you.
Always.
I love it. Thank you so much, Kurt. I know we'll chat again here soon. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed something from today's conversation, let us know by giving this episode a like, chatting in the comments, and sharing it with your friends. We always love to hear from you, so you can send email messages to podcast@fibr.fit and connect with us on Instagram @FitBridgePodcast for even more exclusive content. Special thanks to our friends at Winner Productions for all things audio and post edits. And on behalf of the entire staff here at Fiber, it's been my absolute pleasure helping bridge community to opportunity.